Chapter 1. The Highest Court in the Land. Once appointed Supreme Court Justices can serve for the rest of their lives. Justice Stephen Breyer, Justice Clarence Thomas, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Samuel Alito, Justice Anthony Kennedy, Justice John Paul Stevens, Chief Justice John Roberts Jr., Justice Antonin Scalia, Justice David Souter. The 9 Supreme Court Justices posed for a group portrait in 2006. What is the Supreme Court? It is a group of 9 judges known as justices. They make sure that the government follows the highest laws of the United States. They ensure every person has access to equal justice under the law. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. The 3 branches of government. Legislative, United States Capitol, home of Congress, House of Representatives, Senate. Executive, the White House, home of the President, President, Vice President, Cabinet members, and other staff. Judicial, Supreme Court building, home of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, 9 justices. Other federal courts. A handwritten copy of the Constitution is on display at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. The highest laws are written in the U.S. Constitution. Written in 1787, this document was created by the Founding Fathers to establish the U.S. government. The Constitution divides the government into 3 parts or branches. The legislative branch makes the laws. The executive branch carries out the laws. The judicial branch interprets the laws and makes sure they are used and applied fairly. The judicial branch is made up of all the courts in the federal or national court system. These courts settle disagreements about what the federal laws mean. There are many levels of courts. Court trials, or cases, can begin in the lower courts. Some of those reach the highest one, the Supreme Court. The road to the Supreme Court. It is not easy to take a case to the Supreme Court. The process starts when the losing side in a trial decides to try again. They ask a higher court to review the lower court's decision. This is an appeal. The United States Federal Court System. The United States Supreme Court, 1 court. The United States Courts of Appeals, 12 courts. The United States District Courts, 94 courts. States have their own Supreme Courts. Here, the California Supreme Court judges listen to a lawyer present a case. The higher court has to agree to take the case. Then there is a new trial. If the higher court agrees with the lower court, the losing side can appeal to the next higher court. Appeals can continue until a case reaches the Supreme Court. In this way, the judicial branch is shaped like a pyramid. There are many lower courts at the bottom and the Supreme Court at the top. The number of courts where people can try their cases gets smaller as they move up the pyramid. A cartoon from 1885 depicts Supreme Court justices being overwhelmed with requests to review cases from lower courts. Each year, the Supreme Court receives thousands of requests from people who want their cases heard. It would be impossible for the justices to take every case, but they do review every request. They hold private meetings before deciding to take a case. Most requests do not make it past this meeting. At least 4 justices must approve a case before it can be heard. What types of case does the Supreme Court take? Some cases involve people or states who disagree over the meaning of a federal law. Other cases concern the Constitution itself. A group's actions might take away another person's rights as explained in the Constitution, for example. The court also hears cases in which a lower court's ruling goes against an earlier Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court sometimes uses these cases to fix mistakes made in the past. The Supreme Court rules on about 100 cases a year out of about 8,000 requests.